Are you a boner guy?
Oh, I was a boner guy.
You know what? I miss penis.
What are you talking about?
I'm the one who should apologize.
Is it going to be absolutely riveting? Is it going to change your life by any stretch? Probably not, but it's going to be at least entertaining, okay?
By the way, for those people that are in the back, remember to shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up, asswipe, and suck my cock.
I've been dying to say that.
Cuz-a-roo.
Slap-a-rooney.
It's showtime.
WATP!
WATP!
Hello, Rubbernecks and Cuzzaroos, and welcome to a special non-emergency episode of Who Are These Podcasts? Couldn't have started at a worse time. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. If anyone in the chat can let me know if the Tigers ended up winning the game against the Astros, that would be very helpful. Thanks for tuning in for this special mini-sode, emergency broadcast that we're doing, non-emergency broadcast.
Non-emergency.
That we're doing. And I should have written this down. Someone sent me this, and it's fantastic. It's about 45 minutes of audio, and it's when Opie and Jim Norton had a show together. It only lasted 2 years on Sirius XM. And this is from February 11th, 2015. So less than a year, only about 6 months from when the time that Anthony was fired and the Opie and Anthony show was donezo for good. And so Opie continued on with Jim Norton. And this episode has it all.
It does.
My 2 favorite guys to goof on with Opie and Stuttering John is there as the guest. One of my favorite radio guys of all time who's been on this show. I've been on his show. Jim Norton is there. And then my favorite stand-up, who has no idea that I exist, Dave Attell, is also on this show. Tigers win.
Yay.
Oh, man, it was getting dicey there at the end. Thank you, Peen Wienerstein, for the update on that. So, yeah, somebody sent this my way, and I should have written down who that was. Thank you for sending this to me, because I found this fascinating for a number of reasons. One of the reasons is that John is desperate for employment and asks for a job multiple times, multiple jobs, multiple times. And we'll get into that. Also, it just shows you that John is not in their league. Dave Attell and Jim Norton are firing on all cylinders, and John's just a dork. They're so much funnier and quicker and better than him.
It's just a different quality.
Yes, it's a different quality.
Yeah.
They're in different leagues. John's playing single A ball, and these guys are in the playoffs in the Major League. So let's start off with, they're talking about acting for some reason, and John asks Jim Norton if he does any acting gigs, which is laughable. I mean, Jim's been on HBO, he's been in movies, whatever. He's not an actor. That's not his main thing by any means.
He's done stuff.
He's definitely done stuff. But then we find out very quickly why John asked this question.
Yes, John, I do a little acting.
Yeah, what the have I seen you in, Jim?
Jim is a good actor.
Perhaps in Spider-Man, and perhaps on the Amy Schumer program, and perhaps in Lucky Louie, and
Lucky
perhaps
Louie.
in Louie itself. The new
Oh, I remember the Lucky Louie one.
There you go.
Louie's one of the few. I'm
What's
sorry.
that? Bored to death. Thank you very much, E-Rock.
Jim is one of the few crossovers from the Lucky Louie to Louie. You
Yes.
made it to the next.
think
Good for you. How
just
do I
me.
get it? How do I get on
Pam.
that show?
How do you get on
How
that
do I got to
show?
blow to get on that show?
Now, this is how John always does this. He tries to pretend it's like a joke. It's like, hey, how do I get on that show, right? Who do I got to blow? But meanwhile, because we're going to see a lot of evidence of this, he's hoping there's like, oh, yeah, we can get you a guest spot. Actually, you might be a good secondary character on that show. I think you and Louie would work really well together. He's looking for something like that to happen. Or, oh, I didn't know you acted, John. Oh, actually, I do. I wrote a movie. I star in it. Go through his whole, Dude, Where's My Car? Go through all of his credits, airheads. He's waiting for something like that to happen.
I think he also would blow Louis C.K.
I think so.
if given the opportunity.
Yeah. Louis C.K. would rather jerk off
In front of him.
in front of him than get a blowjob from him, but who wouldn't? Who wouldn't rather
either way.
jerk off in front of John than get a blowjob from him? I ask. Who amongst us? I should remind everybody, because we are live right now on YouTube. We do have the Super Tip system, supertip.gg/WATP. You see it there up in the right-hand corner. There's a QR code. It's also pinned in the chat. It's also in our description. I figured that part out. Look at me. So you can go over to another tab or another browser or something and give us a super tip. We appreciate that. And thank you all for being here for this episode. There are some super tips coming in. We'll get to those very shortly. Thank you for the support. So they're talking about John's stutter. And Jim remembers that Dave Attell has the greatest stuttering joke of all time. And you got to think, like, why wouldn't John have a funny joke about stuttering? You'd think that he would. But this kind of demonstrates that it's a nice example that John's just out of his element.
Yeah.
He can't hang with Norton and Attell. He would never come up with something like this.
Attell had the greatest stutter joke ever.
Oh, yeah?
What was that?
My grandfather is a stutterer. He died saying the word papaya.
Yeah, that's a good one. That was a different time, guys.
Very good joke.
Yeah.
The person you don't hear laughing there is John.
Yeah.
John only laughs when he tells a joke, which we're going to find out on this episode. It's very funny. One of his pet peeves is, these guys, they laugh at their own jokes. John is the king of laughing at his own jokes. Oh, I should tell you this real quick. I'm all over the place. Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained. But I was just talking to Ray DeVito on the phone. Ray is at Gebhard's right now.
Yes,
And
he
of course,
is.
Tuesday is when Opie's usually there doing his show. So Ray was hoping to get on Gebhard's. I gave him some questions about Scorch to ask Opie. But apparently Opie is not there because he broke his leg.
Yeah. How?
I don't think Ray knew anything. It's like, I'm going to ask Ray a follow-up question. He goes, I think he broke his leg. I'm okay.
Well, maybe he
So.
didn't break his leg.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe he just saw that Ray was there and just decided like, hey, tell the guy that I broke my leg. I don't know. But that's a shame if that's the truth. I don't know what Opie does that he could break his leg doing. Moving the car to the other side of the street. I don't know.
We'll get well soon if
What kind
so.
of physical activities is he up to? I'm not even sure. Okay. So I have a bunch of examples on here of Jim just being way better at radio than John could ever hope to be.
Mm-hmm.
And John not getting it. There's a bunch of examples. Here's the first one where John asks if Jim or Dave are going to be on the Justin Bieber roast. Remember, this is going back to 2015, the famous Justin Bieber roast with our friend Chris D'Elia.
The good old days.
Let's not forget that.
Are any of you guys doing the Justin Bieber roast? Or?
They asked me and I said no.
Oh, really? Why?
I'm lying.
I love that. Jim's so fast, so funny. They asked me and I said no. John, why would you say no to something like that? Just falls for it every time. We're going to have a number of examples of exactly that happening. All right. So then John starts interviewing everyone else. We've seen this from John. When John's doing his own show and has a guest on, he's terrible at interviewing people. But when he's a guest, he goes into interview mode. We saw this when he was on that show in Iowa, where he's the guest promoting his comedy show and just wants to interview the host of the show, and it's awkward and weird. So he starts asking Jim Norton a question about his weight loss. Jimmy lost a lot of weight around this time.
So, Jim, how did you lose all this weight? What the hell? Really? I don't get it.
Look what he's having for breakfast over here.
Yeah,
A
that's
nice.
true. I have an affirmation on my refrigerator. It says, "You can do it." Wow. And I look at that every morning.
But
I like how you eat the enemy's food. I like that. Let me learn their ways. Smell their smells.
Jim, or?
Yeah, I go like 4 or 5 days a week.
Busts his ass.
Well, how about that?
Dave, I don't like to brag, but
What happened? Like, what was the whole
I just wanted to-
epiphany here. What happened?
I just got sick of it. It's like I got sick and tired of being a fucking frump. And I just
Hey, watch yourself.
Were you ever in shape as a boy?
There's the first example of John saying something and him being the only one laughing at it. And I'm not even sure what he's going for there. I got sick of being a frump. Hey, watch yourself.
I don't think he knows what that word means.
I don't think he, what would he think that he was going to say? If not, let me play that again. That's so stupid.
It's like I got sick and tired of being a fucking frump. And I just
Hey, watch yourself.
Were you ever in shape as a boy?
No one else in the studio was laughing. Hey, watch yourself. Well, no, I just got sick of being a frump.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And that was the only thing I could think of is he doesn't know what that word means.
Correct. But what did he think? Did he think he might say what? Watch yourself tells me it's a word close to like the N word, if you're like, oh, that's a trigger for me. Whoa, watch yourself, But
Starts with an F. That's all I got.
yeah,
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
have no
I
idea.
couldn't even
no one
tell
else
you.
got it either. So maybe I'm the internet idiot. But let's go. More interviewing Jim. This is John interviewing Jim on Jim's show. Which the problem with this premise, and I explained this when we made fun of John for the Iowa thing, is that the listeners of that show know the hosts. They don't need you to interview them because they listen to these people every day for the most part.
Right.
So you don't need to go on Howard Stern and ask Howard Stern, hey, are you married? We all know.
And that kind of thing doesn't usually bother me too much if it's genuine. Like, wow, Jim, you look great. I haven't seen you in a while. You lost a lot of weight. And then it's over with and it passes on. But everybody else that listens to that show knows he's lost a lot of weight.
Okay. Oh, so John Q. Public is saying, so John's like, hey, I'm a frump. Watch it. You're making fun of me here. Is that what that was?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, maybe that's what it was. Well, no one got it, and I didn't either, and it didn't work. But John laughed hysterically at it, so that's good stuff. All right.
Oh, maybe that is what it was.
Good stuff, John. Very funny.
A good joke is one that needs to be explained a bunch.
Yes. So more interviewing Jim Norton here.
And do you have a
Straight
girlfriend?
edge.
No, I don't. I'm actually. It's like a running joke. I'll say I'm single and I love to mingle, and people laugh. But it's. But no, I do not.
Because it's so weird. Like I stopped drinking for like 2 weeks. You know,
That's it? Oh.
Yeah, but it was so. And then
Did you like it?
Well, here's the thing. I was dating like a 26-year-old,
And they want to party.
And for the first time in like 20 years, I had sex without even having a buzz. I lasted like 30 seconds.
Wow.
But which is so. I guess when you drink, your like dick gets numb from the alcohol. I couldn't believe how
Gives
bad
you a
I
little more
was.
stamina?
Yeah. So I went back to drinking immediately.
Yeah, there you go.
John quit drinking for 2 weeks, had sex with a girl, and premature ejaculated, and decided this ain't for me. Sober life ain't for me. I'm going back to drinking again.
At least he has a reason.
The other thing he said there, he hadn't had sex without a buzz on in 20 years.
That's a long time.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
You never had morning sex or afternoon sex. I understand you get drunk every night. We all understand that. But that's a weird thing to admit, especially a man who was married for a lot of that time that he's talking about.
His self-deprecation doesn't
It's telling.
come off as funny.
Right. No, it's just telling.
make-
And you're just
make
like,
me
oh no,
sad."
don't say that. That's awful.
Yeah.
Not good at all. So then they get into his marriage and they want to know, well, why'd your marriage end, John?
As they say, we grew apart.
Yeah, but that's true, right?
Yeah.
When did you know it was finished?
I mean, I'm more still the party guy, and then she became more of
An adult.
yes,
Let's say it. She's an adult.
exactly.
That's hilarious. Right there. Oh, yeah. So why you guys grew apart? What was going on? Yeah. I still act like I'm in a frat, and she's a responsible adult with children that she's raising. So very quick by Dave right there. Good group in the studio
Great group.
around John with Jim and Dave. Now, what John's going to say here, this is a very key part of this program because he reveals something he definitely should not reveal about his own son and his own family. This is going back to 2015. Susanna is dating Aaron, who's now her husband.
Mm-hmm.
At the time they were dating. And I can't believe that John's so stupid he would say this.
You guys cool now that you got kids for the kids?
I still love the woman as a friend, but and my son is really hates the fact that and she's got a boyfriend and my son doesn't like him and and all that.
Why doesn't your son like him? Is it racial?
he is half black actually, but no, it's so funny because my son's with me and then he's like. And then he's like, I don't like the boyfriend, and I'm like, why? And he goes, why do you think?
Yeah,
he's so
Really?
smart. He's
How
9
old
years
is he?
old.
Oh, okay.
9.
My son doesn't like my wife's new boyfriend. I go and get lunch with him and he tells me he doesn't like him. Why would you say that on a national radio show?
He's 9.
That's a crazy thing to say,
Yeah.
to give that kind of information out. It's the kind of shit that harassment restraining orders are built on.
Yeah.
Ask Aaron Imholt about that. What a piece of shit John is.
And I'm not even convinced that it's true, but it doesn't matter.
Well, he's taking a shot at Aaron one way or the other.
No,
whether it's true
no, I
or not
realize
true.
that, but
Honestly, if it's not true, that's a horrific thing to say. If it is true, that's a horrific thing to say.
yeah.
Because then you're throwing Oscar under the bus. Like, this kind of shit gets back to her. And then Aaron's going to be like, Oscar, have a seat, man. Talk to me.
God.
What's going on? what am I doing? You know, what could I be doing better? And I said, what the fuck? What did my dad say? Oh, he just told a couple million people that you don't like me.
Yeah.
That's nuts. He's stupid.
It's in very poor taste.
It's in very poor taste to do that. And then John doubles down on Oscar not liking Aaron. And spoiler, Oscar loves Aaron.
Yes.
I watched the wedding speeches. Oscar loves his stepdad. So this could be John wishful thinking. I know John doesn't like Aaron. We've heard him slip up on that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is John doubling down.
No, I thought it was so funny that young could already like know the obvious. You know, come on, Dad. You know,
Are you
obvious.
jealous
What?
of the boyfriend or no?
No.
Oh, you're not. Okay.
No. It's like, I'm dating like 26-year-olds. You know, I mean, you know, do I really care who's driving the old car now? I have the new one. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Jeez.
I don't need to get all sentimental.
That's just another shitty thing to say about your ex-wife, and John's the best at that. Oh, I got a new car. I had a 26-year-old. He's so proud of himself.
He said 26-year-olds, plural,
Oh, I know.
which
He's getting all the young girls.
I definitely don't believe.
No, of course not. Especially if he's ejaculating in 30 seconds. How long are these girls sticking around for this? It's ridiculous. Oh, you stink. You don't clip your toenails and you premature ejaculate? Neat. When's our next date? Can't wait for that. Did you notice? This is what I'm not understanding. Where his son says to him, I don't like Aaron, Susanna's boyfriend. John goes, why not? He's like, why do you think? Listen to this again at the beginning of this clip.
No, I thought it was so funny that young could already like know the obvious. You know, come on, Dad. You know,
Are you
obvious.
jealous?
Know the obvious. Is he implying that he's like a way better guy?
That's what made me think he was lying about this because
Yeah, he didn't really
a
have
kid
an explanation.
that young would know the obvious, which really just kind of reflects back onto John because he thinks it's the obvious thing.
Yeah, is that what it is? Because I'm like, what is it? Why would Oscar not like his mom's boyfriend? Seems like a great guy from everything I've heard about him. I mean, I saw a bunch of different wedding speeches and everyone's like crazy about this guy.
Seems like a great
They
man.
think he's amazing. And they think he's amazing compared to the other guy who lived in the house before him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's crazy about it. Not only is Aaron an amazing guy, but if you compare him to the biological father, allegedly the biological father, he's way, way better. So I don't know. Maybe John did make all of that up, and that's a weird thing to say, again, on a national radio show, especially if you made it up.
I was under the impression that it was a complete lie only because I know that he lies a lot.
The other thing that John does is when he's interviewing the hosts of the show, he'll bring up things that no one can see. This is a radio show. It's not a video show. So remember when he was on that show in Iowa, he was talking about the guy who had the prosthetic leg, and he's like, he kept asking him about that. And the guy's like, John, yeah, I had a prosthetic leg. I mean, he's like, oh, you always leave it right there. You got a sneaker on. It's like, no one can see what you're talking about. So he does the same thing with Jim Norton right here.
What was this all about, Jim?
If I'm chewing something, I hold the microphone up so I don't. But I hold it so I can pull it down quickly. Sometimes I have a zinger, and I want to.
You don't have that cough button?
They don't
No.
like us eating on air. They
So I wanna-
fucking hate it.
There's a lot of times I eat, they don't know I'm eating. I actually hold the mic way above me.
We try really hard not to eat on air, but what the fuck?
See, I'll just fire out a zinger like that. You won't even know I got food in my mouth.
Why even bring it up? So Jim's holding the microphone away from his mouth and he's eating his breakfast, which you heard it right there. Management doesn't want him to do. So John's calling it out, calling attention to it. We don't know that's happening. No one listening gives a shit about it. And John's just a child who's just making general observations around the room.
I know. And I couldn't tell if he was trying to get Jimmy in trouble.
No, he just doesn't have anything to talk about.
Well, then don't say anything.
I know. So this is very interesting right here. We start talking about Anthony Cumia. As I said, this happened in February 2015. Anthony was fired in July of 2014. So just 6 or 7 months has passed. And John wants to know, hey, what's the deal with that Anthony guy who used to be a part of this show?
All right, let me ask the question that you know.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Opie, is this. So now Anthony's not here anymore.
No.
So what happened?
That's a very good question. It's very complicated.
Well, fuck. I talked about Stern.
Well, much like your marriage, it was time to move on, and
They have a son together.
we had a very complicated relationship. To be honest with you, we didn't talk much off air for many years.
And why is that?
I don't know. We just changed as people, I guess. I don't hate the guy or anything.
But then he got fired because of what happened?
For his tweeting.
Yeah, and the
company was very upset about it, and when he connected a little violence to his tweets, they felt, don't fucking kill me for saying this, they felt like he had to go.
And did you fight for him?
Of course, I don't even listen to those fucking assholes. Of course we did.
Oh, okay.
Of course
that's
we
the
did.
only question. No, that's the only question because I was on the show yesterday, and then he was like he didn't know if you went.
He knows. He knows.
Oh, really?
He's very good at pushing buttons and keeping things going.
So
he knows. He knows we fought for him.
Okay. There's a few things I want to talk about with this. First is Opie, because as you know, we've done a lot of deep dives into Opie and his relationship with Anthony and whether or not he went to bat for Anthony. And he doesn't do himself any favors. When John was just on Anthony's show prior to this, and Anthony was alluding to the fact that, yeah, when I got fired from Sirius, Opie didn't have my back. He didn't go to management, try to save my job or anything like that, which is what Anthony believes is the case. And the reason why he believes that is because every single time it's brought up, Opie goes, we needed a break anyway. We grew apart. We didn't talk anymore. I could tell he was already building a studio in his house. He was ready to move on. It makes it seem like Opie was the one who was ready to move on and didn't go to bat for Anthony, because that's the first thing he says when asked, did you go to bat for him? Listen, the show was ending anyway. We're probably not going to go another contract round. Mm-hmm. But then he also says, but yeah, I totally went to management. I said, no, you can't fire him. He's lying.
I agree.
Right. But then John says, yeah, I know about the tweet and the thing, which is very interesting to me. Because when I talked to John the first time that him and I had our back and forth Skull versus the Troll episode, which is a fantastic episode, I have to tell you.
It is.
I taught John how to tune his guitar. Actually, no one could do that. I wasn't able to pull that off. But in this episode, I called John out for going on Anthony's show knowing that he got fired for these insensitive tweets. I go, John, you're the fucking moral compass. Oh, you can't have Missy B on the show. You can't go on Anthony's show. I'm like, you've been on this show 10 times. And you know he got fired from SiriusXM. And so you just heard him there in 2015 going, yeah, I know that. Now, listen to what he said when I was asking him about this very same thing going back last year to my interview with John.
Minor.
I don't care. That's not
That
has nothing to do with me.
You don't give a fuck, and you'll go on Anthony Cumia's show, who's a fucking staunch racist, a staunch.
You went on his show 9 times, and you
I
wanted
never
to be
knew
his
it.
co-host.
I never
yes,
knew
you
it.
did. You knew everything that was going on. You didn't know why he was fired from Sirius?
No.
You're gonna lie to me right now? Oh, that's a lie. Busted.
No,
Why do
I'm
you think
not
he was fired
lying.
from Sirius? Why
I
do you
didn't
think
even know he was fired from Sirius.
Oh, he didn't even know he was fired from Sirius. Wow. That's weird. 'Cause he was in the studio 7 months later asking about him getting fired from Sirius.
Yeah, he did know.
Sounds like he did know. Huh. What? that's my reaction from back then if you're listening right now. It gets confusing when I'm watching myself. Oh, now you're definitely lying, John.
Okay, Carl.
You didn't know he was fired from the Opie and Anthony show. Did you think he just left? He's just like, you know what? This thing where I make $2 million a year working for Sirius XM, I don't want to do this anymore.
I know you think that I'm as obsessed with this dabble bullshit than
No, you were obsessed with working with Anthony because you told people that you were going to be the co-host.
I fucking had no idea about any of this shit about Anthony. I know Opie and Anthony, what I had thought was Opie and Anthony got into a fight and then Anthony was somehow gone. I never knew what the details were.
Now, what a fucking liar.
He is a liar because I knew that. You knew that.
Yeah.
Anybody that listens to the show know that. Anybody that's in the business is going to know that. If he's in the business, which he claims to be.
He was on both of their shows.
And he was on both of their
since
shows.
then talking about it.
You lie.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
I wish you weren't a liar.
So that's proof that John definitely did lie to me. which I called at the time, obviously, but John loves to play dumb. I didn't know. I just assumed they had a falling out. Proof that he knew.
Oh, he likes to play dumb and be dumb.
Yes. And this is more of Opie kind of disproving his own point that he went to bat for Anthony after Anthony was fired.
And when he got fired, we literally talked for 5 minutes, and there was no conversation about even fucking continuing.
Yeah.
I think it was just time to just take a break for now.
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah, that's a
so
long.
When people say you don't have loyalty, that's such 20 years is loyalty, you idiots.
No, I didn't. I'm just asking.
No, I'm not mad at you
I mean,
at
I don't
all.
care if you're disloyal.
Can't you see John's looking for a job?
Yes, I am.
John brought his rolling bag.
How about the Opie, John, and Jim show?
I love that. He gets called out for it.
The Opie, John, and Jim show.
Yeah, Dave's like, can't you tell him that he's just looking for a job? John's like, yeah, I'll take a job. Anyone offering jobs? I'll take a job.
And he won't
offer.
even give himself third billing.
Well,
he puts
Rob,
Jimmy last.
Yeah, I know. It's so stupid. Well, he's from the Howard Stern show, John. You have to understand.
He's a middler.
He's much more important than everyone else. All right. Coming up, there's more of John begging for jobs and more of Jim Norton proving his superiority as far as radio goes. But I want to thank the people who are hanging out here, especially DPM, who's calling me out. The Dabbleverse is dying. This SJ Wayback Machine shtick won't save you. Back to the cubicle, Carl. Back to scrubbing toilets, Jenny. Do you think that Jenny Jingles scrubs toilets? Do you think I didn't have an office? I was a partner at the company, sir. How dare you? Michael C., $2 says, Lazy K, disavow the SanDisk Corporation. Disavow SanDisk, for sure. Jay Phoenix, $5. My super chats are still blocked by John. He constantly says how thick-skinned he is from years of working with Howard. Isn't that ironic, don't you think? Yes. Blocking people is, especially when they're super chatting you. And this is a guy who reads nothing but insulting super chats for the most part. It's like, yeah, I'm just another guy who writes insulting super chats. Yeah, I don't like those ones, though. Seems like you're kind of a pussy. Johnny Come Lately, $2. Jenny, does Carla get to enjoy your senior discount? Good question.
I haven't gotten one yet.
She doesn't get to enjoy my handicap parking either. So there goes those rumors. This one came in 3 days ago, but it's in our queue, so Duck Chumby.
Here's a rage for you. Why the fuck won't these random shitty websites let me change my username? Not this username. This one's awesome. Carl, send this to Dick for his show. Thank you. Fuck you. Bye.
Oh, I will send that to Dick for his show. This one came in during the creep off yesterday, and I was wondering where Koof was. I even said, where's Koof today? Thank you for not killing yourselves via Taco Bell food poisoning. Thank you, Koof. We did the creepiest Taco Bell employee yesterday on the creep off. Fantastic episode, I have to say, where Vinny brought in a guy known as the Taco Bell Strangler. It's like, wow, I must have taken a lot of Googling to find that one, Vinny.
I've never heard of that one.
Good stuff. I know, and you're actually a true crime person.
I am.
KKK Carl and the Anti-Shuli Brigade are the best. I give them 1488 stars of David.
I see what you did there. I see what you did.
I'm selling my ticket for Magic Bag. I thought it was Magic Fag. Have the gay you deserve.
have the gay you deserve too, Dan Alexander. Thank you.
My name is Stuttering John, and I molested my own children.
Oh, boy.
Nothing compares to a nice warm night.
Disavow. Michael C. Lazy K meant life partner, not business partner. Oh, wait. What did Michael C. say before to disavow the SanDisk? I don't know. All right.
Something about me cleaning toilets, I think.
No, I think that was someone else out here. Who even knows anymore who's cleaning toilets? It's so hard to keep track.
I know.
This crazy Dabbleverse we live in. All right. So at this point, John's talking about Howard. And Opie's talking about his relationship with Howard. And, Opie, I guess, wanted to ride home during a snowstorm or something from Howard because they both live on the Upper West Side. And Jimmy's just the best.
He made up with my boy, Brother Weeze. He called him.
Oh, really?
He called him personally to
Rosie
apologize.
O'Donnell, he made up with.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just,
He gave me a ride home.
really?
No. But we never fought, so.
I did ask.
All right, go back to eating.
I did ask for a ride home.
All right. Two things there. First off, yeah, I got a ride home from Howard Stern. And John, really? No, that's a joke. Howard's not giving rides to Jim Norton, obviously. But then the way that John tagged that was something that only he laughed at. Let's hear that again. This is John laughing at his own jokes.
Really?
No. But we never fought, so.
I did ask.
All right, go back to eating.
I did ask for a ride home.
All right, go back to eating.
Good one.
I mean, he just can't hang with these guys at all. And he also asks these weird questions. Again, personal questions of the hosts of the show are completely unnecessary, especially Opie. Opie doesn't talk about his family situation very much at all.
Where you living now?
Upper West.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And how many kids you got?
2.
Oh, cool.
So just to finish, though,
We're doing a show here, John. We're not getting caught up on the families right now. I don't think Opie really wants to talk about his family situation and where he lives. He's had some issues with that.
Yeah.
But John doesn't know how to do a show. He wants to be talking. He wants to be a part of it. He wants to prove that he can be a part of it. In fact, this idea comes up because Opie and Anthony have not done a show together at this point yet. And so there's talk about like, what kind of reunion could you do? Would you guys ever get on a show together and do something together? And I think maybe Dave comes up with this idea and John's all over it.
I think you need a neutral party to make sure it doesn't get out of hand. John,
Yes.
I think you would be a great.
I think I
you
would
would be a great
perfect.
Jimmy Carter for this one.
yeah, I heard you guys get along really well. We're getting along, it seems. So maybe you should be the guy.
Well, I you know what? Can I do it?
Sit down somewhere in Staten
I'll be the
Island, something
mediator.
Northern
It'll be-
Italian.
No, it'll be perfect.
We'll bring Artie Lang in, and
Oh, yeah.
we'll figure out all sorts of
Yeah,
problems.
Dave Attell keeps playing cards until that guy goes home.
No, that would be great. We should I could mediate the whole thing.
Right.
Did you hear that? He got so excited right there. He's like, yeah, that's it. I could be the mediator. You guys, we should do this. And then you guys can pay me the money to be the mediator. It's going to be my new job that I do. That's the third different job he's looked for so far on this episode. We're 23 minutes in.
Did he get one?
I don't think he ever got one.
I didn't
I'm pretty
think so.
sure. But he's looking for acting gigs from Louis C.K. He's looking to be the second mic on this show, not even the third mic. And now he wants to be the mediator when Opie and Anthony have their reunion
That would be awful.
to hash it out. And it doesn't even make any fucking sense.
No, it doesn't.
This is the guy worked for Howard Stern, never listened to Opie and Anthony, knows nothing about them. Years later, claims he didn't even know that Anthony was fired from SiriusXM. He's going to sit there and be the mediator for this. But it was brought up, so he's just like, that's a great idea. Let's do it. Where do I sign? Where's the contract?
He's a go-getter.
And then John makes it all about him because for just a little while, they stopped talking about John because Opie's explaining how he was ready to be done with Opie and Anthony in 1999 because him and Ant had a falling out. They weren't friends anymore. So they brought in Jim, and then Jim Norton was kind of the glue that held the show together. And John can't just sit there and listen to this story. He's got to include himself into it.
So,
You know, Jim was on my
young
first
kid.
tour.
Huh?
You know, Jim was on my first tour.
I was. That's how I met John.
I did not know that.
Jimmy was on the first Stuttering John and Friends tour. It was me, Jimmy, and Modi.
Modi, okay.
And Melrose Larry
Right.
Green.
I know John longer than you guys.
Cool. Cool story, dude. And he had to drop all the other names in there. He does that a lot on this episode. He talks
Yeah.
about Jim Florentine texting him during the show.
Yeah.
Do you guys know Jim? Yeah. They do.
I know Jimmy's reaction was
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Yeah, I know. Jim's just like, I hate that guy. But yeah, so John had to talk about he had a tour and he had Jim Norton on there. He's known Jim. I've been his friend longer than you have, Opie. Okay. Pretty neat. And then John tries to interrupt Opie with a question. And I got to give Opie credit here. He says, nope, you're not interrupting me, asshole.
Yeah.
Let's bring him in as the third guy, and then me and Ann could talk through him and continue the show.
Oh.
Now I have to ask you a question.
And
What
then,
was
but
it, though?
then we got to more of an understanding where we didn't have to do that anymore.
He gets so excited like a child, too. Oh, okay, well, then I got to ask you. Oh, God. I'll let you finish, I guess, since it is your show. And you were in the middle of explaining to me how this all happened. I did like that Opie shut him down on that one.
Yeah.
That was good. You ready for John to ask for a job again?
Yeah.
All right.
No.
course we
And
did.
that was the only thing that I.
But it
you
was
know.
so complicated. Then it also was enticing. Well, maybe we'll continue and see what the fuck happens.
Yeah.
Plus,
Well,
I mean,
well, if you guys do, I could use a job. And
The thing with these guys, and
You've stated your case pretty well, John.
I've said this to Opie. I've had the thing of watching them like.
I love that Dave, because Dave doesn't talk a lot on this.
No.
Because John's just like so controlling on it. But Dave's just like, yeah, no, we know you need a job. You've made that very clear. That's Dave not even trying to be funny, which normally he is.
Yes.
That's where he's just kind of getting like annoyed with them. It's like, yeah, John, we know you're not getting a job from this. John, and he said this about Anthony's show where Keith was going to hire him to be his co-host because he had these great appearances. And now that I think about it, that's how he got the gig on the Tonight Show in his head. He had such an amazing appearance that they're like, we got to hire this guy and make him the announcer. So now in John's head, he's thinking anytime I go on a show, I might be so compelling and interesting that I get hired to be a part of the show. And it's very obvious that's the way he's thinking.
Yes.
Because he's trying to control it. He's interviewing everyone else. Anytime there's an opportunity to ask for a job, he asks for it.
Well, and I was just picturing any opportunity that they had, Jimmy and Dave being like the side eye, the eye roll.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can only imagine how annoying he was in the studio with them. And so now let's get into John's relationship with alcohol. So he's got to interrupt things to ask if anyone drinks. Now, obviously, Jim Norton famously does not drink.
Right.
He was an alcoholic when he was 18, as you know.
Yes.
He had to quit that. But he's a dry drunk now, according to Jim. And then Dave Attell was a drinker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had a Comedy Central show all about it. And he had to stop drinking. Opie, we know Opie. He likes fruit-flavored beers. So this is John getting very upset that no one wants to be a raging alcoholic with him anymore.
After
Do you
20
drink
fucking years,
alcohol at all?
A little bit. Not much.
He's
See, it's the answer. I mean, if you just
Not
drink,
much.
and, you drink, you love. Do you drink, Dave?
No, I quit like 7-8 years ago, something like that. Yeah.
You know, I noticed that like no comics drink anymore. Every time that I'm doing stand-up with somebody, they're
Well, we're getting older.
Most of them don't drink. There's
Yeah,
very
it's like,
few.
Very
few.
The age of Kinnison kind of guys.
That's all done.
It's gone. I mean,
It's all designer
everyone's drinking
pot.
lattes now. Like I just did the improv at Fantasy Springs, with Avi Lieberman's drinking a latte. I mean, they're like Mo, like all these guys drinking lattes. I mean, no one's drinking beer anymore.
You all right?
Get a hold of
No need
yourself.
to get emotional about it. I think in the King speech, they were declaring war on Germany. It's not
How are they ever going to know you're having a stroke?
yeah.
Yes.
All right. Opie with a decent line there because he has had a couple of strokes. Do you see how worked up he gets that no one wants to drink beer anymore?
Yeah.
And I thought that was very telling where Jim's just like, yeah, we're getting older. John, we're not in our 20s anymore. We're all trying to be professional comics, so we're not just like getting wasted. And John, that just sends him on a rant about it. What the fuck? People are drinking coffees and water, and I just want to get drunk with everyone.
Where's your loyalty to beer?
Yeah, and it's very telling because now when he starts talking about alcohol, you really see, and we talked about it earlier, where he can't have sex without being drunk. He tried it once after 20 years. It didn't work out, so I'll never do that again. And so John is going to talk more and more about how he needs alcohol and everyone else should need alcohol as well. But first, it's time for John to tell a Howard Stern story. He's asking all about Opie and Anthony. It's like, what about Howard Stern? Tell us about Howard Stern. And so John pulls this out of his ass. It's a story no one's ever heard before. Behind the scenes stuff from him on the Howard Stern show. Amazing that he would bring this up. I can't believe he doesn't talk about it more.
Because we were on the air and like Howard was giving us all crap for all the Christmas gifts. And then I went in there and I said, Howard, one time for Christmas, you sent us a canister with three different kinds of popcorn. And that was our Christmas present. It was like 3 different kinds of popcorn and like a canister with a name on it.
I would have liked that.
Oh, the popcorn story. Wow, what a treat. I'm going to go on the Opie and Jim show and talk about the popcorn story for the millionth fucking time. And none of them were having, they're just like, yeah, that sounds like a fine gift. It's whatever. But he goes on. I didn't want to play this whole thing for you. We've all heard it a million times. He goes on and on about the popcorn story, how cheap Howard was for giving popcorn. So then this leads to Jim and Opie talking about giving gifts to each other for Christmas. And again, Jim is he's playing a different game than John.
Yeah.
John's just not figuring out what's going on here at all.
We got to give gifts again.
I don't mind.
Jimmy is good at giving gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gave me an Apple gift certificate.
That's right.
I still haven't used that.
You should use it.
I'm going to
Money
use it.
hard.
For how much?
3,000.
Really?
No.
Good for you, Jim.
Anytime John hears something that he's like, wow, $3,000, that sounds like a lot. Really? Really? They're already told they were Opie's laughing.
Right.
I still haven't used that.
You should use it.
I'm going to
Money
use
hard.
For how
earned.
much?
3,000.
Really?
No.
Good for you, Jim.
John is so stupid.
Well,
So gullible.
he's naive.
He's naive. He doesn't understand how comedy works. He's never been on a show like the Opie and Anthony show. Very different. You know, Howard likes to say they're copycats. A very different show than the Howard Stern show. Everyone's so quick and everyone's just in there with all these things. And John just can't keep up. He's just like, what? It's like watching a ping pong match. You remember that Kids in the Hall?
Yes.
That's John watching this at the show. What's going on? All right. So John's ready to trash Gary Delabate, Baba Booey.
He loves doing that.
He loves trashing Gary Delabate. And Opie has been doing radio since he's 18. He's got some instincts here that kick in.
Listen, do I trust Gary? No.
All right, good.
And I'll tell you the greatest Gary story. Because
Is this bad? Is this bad? Is this?
See, that's what I don't want to do because
I
I'm
don't
gonna end
know.
up getting.
I'm just curious.
I say,
And we just
honestly,
happen to be doing it with microphones on. I could get the answer off air, and I'd be just as.
I like that Opie just like, should we be talking mad shit about Gary Delabate right now behind the scenes stuff? Like, probably not. He works down the hall from us.
He's still got to be in the building with him.
Yeah, probably not I see him on the elevator once or twice a month. Like, that's probably not the best idea to do that. And Opie's just like, yeah, I'll take your answer off the air. I'll hang up and take your answer. It's like, I actually am just genuinely curious. You don't have to actually talk about it on the show. There was another part, I didn't clip it, where they were having a conversation in the commercial break. And then John asked Opie a question, and Opie goes, well, I told you that off the air, but okay, since you asked again. You know, it's just like, John doesn't understand how any of this works. Doesn't understand the dynamics here of how to be a successful radio personality. And I hate to say it, John is so bad that he makes Opie look good.
I thought so too.
It happened when Opie went on John's show, Beer on the Balcony. It was my Super Bowl.
Yes.
I think we had Gino on the show. Heather W. showed up. That was an amazing episode that we had. And in my Super Bowl, you have these two assholes talking to each other, and Opie outclassed John because John is a retard.
Well, Opie is off. He's not great when he's alone.
No, he's terrible.
But in the studio, at least he has some decorum.
You know who else does a good show when Jim Norton and Dave Attell are there? Everyone! That's a pretty easy gig right there. If I'm starting up a show and I'm looking across to Jim and Dave, I'm going, all right, well, today's going to be a pretty good show. I don't have to do much heavy lifting out here. This will be good. I've mentioned this before. John is a stutterer, but only when he's nervous. He's actually just a nervous wreck is what he is.
He seemed more worked up this time than I had heard him in a while.
He's in a job interview.
Yeah.
So he's very nervous about this appearance. And John, at this point, doesn't really stutter anymore. They talk about that a little bit early on in the segment. And so John doesn't really stutter that much. And we've brought this up on the show a few times that John would stutter around celebrities. John would stutter in front of Howard Stern. He's nervous. He starts to stutter and stammer. This is a great example of nervous John. That's old school right there.
It was.
Wow. That's like old Howard Stern show stuttering John. Got to keep that on the board. That's fun. I like that. All right. So John tells the story. So he's back in New York.
Yeah.
And he's doing the rounds. He was on Anthony's show. He's doing Opie and Jim. And of course, he reached out to Howard. He's like, well, hey, I'm going to be in town. If you want to have me on the show. And I thought this was very fun.
I asked, I don't know, because then I emailed Gary before I came out here, and I said, hey, you know, I don't know if you want, but I should do, if I was going to do a show, it should be Howard's show first, obviously. Right. And I said, oh, and I heard you were at Billy Joel, and I was there too. And then he wrote back, yeah, wasn't Billy great? Didn't mention anything about me doing the show. So,
yep, take the hint, asshole. It's ridiculous you would even bring it up, because at this time, 2015, this is the Marcy Turk era. They're not having Gilbert Gottfried on, let alone Stuttering John Melendez. They're having A-list celebrities, mostly women that no one cares about.
Right. I mean, that's when the show started to not be my cup of tea.
That's when the show deserted their audience because Howard decided he hated his audience and he thought they were all racists and frat guys and Stuttering John people. They wanted nothing to do with it. He wanted to distance himself from that.
Well, the other thing too is even from listening to Living in the Past, or we're doing that.
Yes, Living in the Past with Stuttering John is a series that we're doing on our Patreon where we're going back listening to John's episodes from 2018 before the Dabbleverse existed.
Yes, that is not the first time he's asked to be on that show.
Correct.
He
tries to get on Howard's show. Now he's learned his lesson, but for a while there, he was trying all the time. So this is where John gets on this is the most embarrassing part of the show, in my opinion. John gets on his phone and pulls up Tinder. And he wants to show off all these girls that are on Tinder. And he's just like, check this out, guys. This is so weird. This is as if a guy is showing pictures of girls that they've slept with, which I've seen before. Rob Saul just did it on the show this week where he was talking about, for some reason, he had a photo of a girl he slept with like right next to him. It was just like pulled it out. I was like, see, I got a hot girl. Like, oh, that's weird. That's not a good sign. But this is John showing off the girls on his app.
Yeah, so like all these girls, hold on, hurry up, come on. Oh, look at that hottie.
Who is that bitch? Yeah, but is that a real girl?
I think she is because she's 35. If she was 23, she wouldn't be real. But then you just hit like, and then you hope that they like you. Here's an Asian one. I'm into Asian too.
Nice.
She's got big
But
boobs.
what does it take to say dislike?
Right there.
As a guy, you know what I mean?
Well, that's true. Anyone over like 300 pounds, I say no.
I see. That was a pig.
Yeah. See,
I don't think you should limit yourself like that, Johnny. I mean, you're single.
She's cute.
But have you had hookups with this thing?
Oh, by the way, no, I haven't gotten laid yet on this.
What are we doing then? That was so funny. It's like he's just showing random girls on Tinder. It's like, can you believe that? Look at the Asian girl, huh? Look, this chick's hot. And Opie's like, so are you fucking these girls? No.
The first time that he said that, I thought, he said, so you getting laid with this thing? I thought he was talking about one of the girls.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah, so turns out John is just a pathetic loser, which I wasn't surprised by.
300 pounds.
Dave was very funny. Don't limit yourself. But that back and forth reminded me of one of my favorite segments from Flight of the Conchords. I believe this is the first scene in season 1, episode 1. But this is what John just reminded me of.
Man, back in New Zealand, I was getting it on with lots of chicks.
Who?
Well, Sarah Fitzpatrick, Michelle Fitzpatrick, Claire Fitzpatrick. The list goes on.
Well, that was all of them.
Well, triple figures.
No, that's not triple figures, that's 3.
Here, though, I don't seem to get with any women. I just talk about getting with women.
Yeah, but the ones you talk about are hot. They're a lot hotter than the ones you got with in New Zealand.
That's true. I do talk about getting with some pretty hot women.
You don't just talk about it, man. You talk about it a lot.
Yeah, I suppose I do talk a lot about getting with some very hot women.
That right there sums up Stuttering John. It's like, you ever sleep with these girls? No, but they're hot, aren't they? Yeah, hot girls exist. That is very true, John.
That's the other thing, too. He did say he got with a 26-year-old, but $299?
I assume.
LBs?
Yeah, I was going to say, I assume just under 300 pounds because that seems to be the limit for him for some reason. So then you have the Jim Florentine name drop where he goes around and talks to everyone about how he's friends with Jim Florentine. Like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. And the last clip I have from this, and then I got some other things I want to get to, but the last clip I have from this is Dave Attell has a very funny quip at the end here.
I was on the way to the airport, and then that freaking snowstorm hit.
I'm calling him Florentine right now.
You must get recognized a lot at the airport, right?
Yeah, I kind of
sometimes.
Oh,
how about at a bus station? Because I seem to get recognized more.
You're getting tired, Dave.
That is phenomenal. You get recognized a lot at the airport. How about the bus station? Probably more your speed, I would imagine. Very funny. Good
I
stuff.
love him.
Dave just kind of held back for the most part, just sat in the background and sniped from time to time. Jim was his normal, very funny and quick self. And John just seemed out of place. Like he does not belong to be on the radio with radio professionals. He's more in his place now with Rob Saul and Clay Dabbler. That's more his speed, I would say. And I have some clips coming up of him with Rob Saul coming up in just a moment because we played on our show Rob Saul applauding his ex-wife's kid dying.
What?
Yeah, you haven't gotten that far yet?
No.
WATP, you're not caught up yet?
A lot of content.
He's a scumbag. He's a piece of shit. So we played that, and then for whatever reason, John found the clip of it on Hackverse or Shuley's Anonymous or one of these places and played that so that Rob could respond to it. So we get Rob's response, get his excuse for it. So we'll be playing that in just a second. But first, I want to thank my man, Penis Wrinkle. $5 says, SJ loves to not know. Wait until Rob Saul betrays him. You believe this guy is a felon thief and wished death on a child? Who knew? Yeah, Penis Wrinkle, perfect. I know you put this in a little while ago, but perfect timing, because as John's playing the clip of what I'm playing, he's not paying attention at all.
Mm-hmm.
He's watching me sip my beer. He's all concerned about that. So I don't even think that John was paying attention or knows, or he'll claim he didn't know about Rob's despicable behavior, which will be fun when that happens. Rabid Weasel, $1. Thank you very much. Brother Ted coming in with $5. In mediating Opie and Anthony back together again, John sees himself as the modern day Frank Sinatra, bringing Dean Martin to Jerry Lewis. He wouldn't know that, but yes, that's what he's thinking for sure, Brother Ted. Thank you for your recent contributions to the show too, Brother Ted. Great stuff. AO1012, $5 says, new show idea, Jen and Jimmy's wife, the mom wife and the man wife. I wonder what Attell thinks of John's stand-up comedy. Oh, you wonder? You wonder. I think I know the answer. What do you think, Jen? You want to do a show with Jim's wife?
Nikki Norton?
Yeah, you and
Seems
Nikki?
like a lovely woman.
Mom wife and man wife?
Sure. It's got a ring.
You know, it's one of those things where like the title's good, and then you're like, okay, but what are we doing with this, you know?
Came up with the title before the content.
Right. It's like snakes on a plane. Right?
I'll
okay,
work on
now
it.
make a movie out of this. Like, oh, okay, I'll try. Kelly Clarkson is beautiful. $2. Jenny Jingles is the best. You're lucky, Carl.
Thank you.
KCWO.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kelly Clarkson is beautiful. Salvatore M, $5. This show is called Living in the Past. In the past, weren't you friendly with Steel Toe Aaron? Shout out Wegmans on Monroe. I was friendly with Aaron Imholt. Yes, very much so. It's bizarre what has happened to that man. He used to not be such a train wreck. I promise you. Looney Tunes critic, member for 3 months. Thank you. 3 months? That's not long enough. I'm sorry. You guys deserve better from a member. I'll say months longer now, so it's more impressive later. Thank you, Looney Tunes critic. That's what everyone's reaction should be when they see their month anniversaries. They should be like, that's not enough. I'm embarrassed to even chat with this. There should be way more on here. I agree with you, Looney Tunes critic. Is the hot sauce been sent out to Looney Tunes critic yet?
I don't have his address.
Didn't I send it to you?
No, you did not.
She's throwing me under the bus right here, Looney Tunes critic. Throwing me under the bus. How many times have we talked about this?
I'll mail it out tomorrow.
You do have the address.
I don't have the address.
All right. Well, Jenny Jingles won't be on the program until her eye heals up. I don't want her coming back on the show until that shiner has gone down. Rocco Orby 2002 $5 says, SJ reminded me of the Shermanator from American Pie. I don't remember American Pie well enough. Do you remember that? Sorry. I haven't seen that movie in a very long time, over 20 years. Red 473 $5. Is John going to live forever? Because he is still alive at this point. He needs to be studied in a lab. We haven't even talked about this. October 4th, I think, is his 59th birthday.
Ooh.
He's got a big birthday show coming up. He's going to expect a lot of super chats for that birthday. I know that for a fact. But yeah, can you believe it? Can you believe he's still going? It's crazy.
It's tough to believe. I'm glad he is.
Me too. I hope he lives forever and makes $1 million.
Jenny, I'm going to make a show about Lady K's past. Can you give me a call? Just do it.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Let's get into this Rob Saul response that he has, because I was checking out John's show the other day, and Rob's got an excuse. You know, like all these guys, they always have a good excuse for their awful behavior, and Rob's no exception. He's going to explain to us why he was applauding the death of his ex-wife's child.
I got joint custody of my daughter. I got
Hold on, Rob. You got to get a little.
I got my condo.
There's a little sip.
I got.
Who sips a beer like that?
I got this. Anyway.
So John is just obsessed with this thing where he doesn't like the way I drink my beer. This is still going on. Great content, John. It's amazing that you make fun of me for the way I drink my. And this is coming from the guy who takes a can and just does this with it.
Just necks it.
Yeah, I'm doing it wrong. You're right, John. I'm the one the polite society doesn't like on this.
Really,
I got my
Rob?
condo back.
Who sips
I
a
got,
fucking beer
joint
like
custody of
that?
My daughter. I got this
Like what?
restraining
Right?
order drop.
See, Rob right now is so distracted that we're playing this clip and this is getting around that he's just like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just watching. Oh, what did I say? Oh shit, what am I going to say on here? And John's going, yeah, could you believe this asshole the way he's drinking? And Rob's like, I don't know. What do you mean? What's he doing that I should be talking about?
Hold on, Rob. We got to get a little.
I got my condo.
There's a
back.
little sip.
I got.
Who sips
joint
a beer
custody of my
like that?
daughter. I got this. Anyway. I
Really,
got my
Rob?
condo back.
Who sips
I
a
got,
fucking beer
joint
like
custody of
that?
My daughter. I got this.
Like what?
Restraining
Right?
order drop.
Watch Carl. He takes like a little bit, a little itty bitty sip. Come on, buffer already.
See, I think Rob's thinking of
Buffering
his
alert.
defense for his actions here. That's why he's
Let
like,
me just make a comment because
please.
I said provide the clip, and here it is. And folks, this is why this was before I think rehab. This was drinking and pill days. So I don't remember this, but when you put something out on the
That's always a great excuse. Guys, this is back when I was drinking and doing pills. And he said rehab, which is interesting. I don't know a lot about Rob Saul. I wouldn't waste my time learning about it. But I do know that when Rob goes on John's show, he's always drinking alcohol. And then, because John even called him out, he's just like, wait, Rob, don't you have a show to do later tonight? And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, how can you start drinking now? And I was like, well, I'm not going to like get wasted. I'm just going to have a few drinks and then I'll drink again tonight during my show. When you go to rehab, and this was 10 months ago that he's claims to be on pills and alcohol and he had to go to rehab. Do they encourage you to like start drinking, but just moderately? Well, you can still drink every day. Is that what they say when you leave rehab?
I'm pretty sure that's not.
Just
what they
don't
say.
binge drink. All right. Just pace yourself. That's what they always tell you when you
We're here
leave
to
rehab.
teach you how to drink responsibly.
Yes.
This was drinking and pill days. So I don't remember this, but when you put something out on the internet, it's out there. It's out there forever. Is it a proud moment in my life? No, but you know what? These people have done so much awful shit to me. And they're scumbags. It's
These people? These people, Rob? What are you talking about? Who's he talking about right there? These people have done so many horrible things to me.
I think he's talking about you.
What have I done to Rob? I've mostly ignored him.
No, it was. It's horrible the stuff they put me through.
Who? I guess he's talking about his family. He must be talking about his family, I guess.
Should I be applauding a misfortune in them? But no, at the time I was bitter, and sometimes karma is a bitch. I do have to say it.
Well, you can just say that you made a mistake, really.
John, I love that. Listen, Rob, you don't have to explain yourself. Just say you made a mistake. That's not a mistake. That's how you felt at the time when you were a bitter asshole, and you're embarrassed by it, rightfully so. That's not what mistakes are.
I'm surprised John didn't just tell him to apologize.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where John's head is at. A mistake would be if I sent out the wrong StreamYard link to a guest and they didn't show up. I'm like, oh, fuck, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Not like I go on a rant about my family members and applaud who would have been the sibling to my daughter dying. That's not a mistake. That just shows you're a piece of shit person. John doesn't know what mistakes are. You can't erase that with a pencil. Just so you know.
That's horrible.
So at this point, the video starts buffering. John really wants to get back to me sipping my beer because Rob didn't understand how funny that was. But this video starts buffering. So then he goes back to the subreddit he's on. He starts watching Cardiff with MLC, Kevin Brennan, which I'm going to get to that in just a moment. Got some clips from that. And so he's watching that. And then finally he gets back to this video because he really wants to show Rob how hilarious it is the way that I drink an alcoholic beverage.
Fucking
really is a piece of shit.
No talent.
And you're not?
You're a piece of shit, Carl.
But, I mean, Rob really is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
For the way he's responding to this. And he'll never get another girl in his life, and he knows that. So it's just him and his dog.
I've had many girls.
And that's why that's not a good comeback. He'll never get another girl in his life. Yeah, but I've had many girls. Right. So we're on the same page. We're on the exact same page with that. Okay, good. He's lashing out like this so pathetically.
Wow.
And then John with the sick burn repeating what I said, but saying it very differently than I said it to act like I'm an idiot. He's lashing out like probably gay because Rob goes off on a rant about how I'm gay, I think, in a minute. And so does Kevin Brennan. Did I already come out? Is this still a thing that I'm
How much
gay?
longer do you have to do
How many
that?
times do I have to come out of the closet for you guys to stop talking about how I'm gay? That's so pathetically.
Wow.
You're fucking an old lady, you loser.
Well, no,
You fucking loser.
I wish that Rob, and this would be a fun drinking game. Every time he says a loser, he calls someone a loser. Drink on that. You're fucking an old lady, you loser. Do you have anything for me that Kevin Brennan didn't tell you? Do you have any other things that you could get me with? Yeah, my wife is older than me, Rob. Good one. What else you got?
You're fucking an old lady, you loser.
Well, no,
You fucking loser.
don't.
Pathetically.
Rob Saul. No, we'll never get it.
Anyway,
Pathetically. Oh, there it is.
Condo
Me.
back. I got
All right, we got back to it. Yes. Hilarious joke, John. You got me.
my daughter.
Who the fuck sips a beer like that, Rob? I mean,
That-
come on.
The just do it loser. I mean,
The Just Do It loser. The old woman fucking loser. The Just Do It loser. The podcasting loser. Let's see if he calls me loser anymore. Let's find out.
you have a nerve to talk about somebody being a piece of shit. I mean, look at you. You just took a Jocktober bit and you're sitting there talking about other people and podcasts. You're a fucking disgusting piece of garbage. That's fucking some old dried up lady. No wonder you.
Did any of those things connect at all? Let me play that again, because Rob, I think, his brain is broken. He doesn't know how to put together thoughts. He's trying to call me out. He doesn't know where he's going with this. When he starts the sentence, he has no idea where he's going. And the idea that I'm going, well, he's a garbage human for his actions. How dare you call me a garbage person? You started a podcast making fun of other podcasts, and that was kind of similar to Jocktober, which was making fun of radio shows. So you're a garbage human. Like, what?
You're a garbage human because your wife is old?
And my wife is older than me, so that's proof that I'm garbage, obviously.
Some might call that charitable.
Thank you. I write it off on my taxes every year.
Shit. I mean, look at you.
That line is how old is your wife? Wife credit. Thank you.
You just took a Jocktober bit and you're sitting there talking about other
Not a Jocktober bit. The Jocktober bit. It's Jocktober.
people and podcasts. You're a fucking disgusting piece of garbage. That's fucking some old dried up lady. No wonder you have no kids.
No wonder you have no kids. Makes sense. There you go. Okay, cool.
Most gay guys do have their little beards and
here we
stuff
go.
like that.
Here
Just
we go.
admit there's nothing wrong with being gay, Carl. You just
Right.
gotta, you know.
I know I came
it's-
out already, Rob. So, all right, let's see. He's going to start talking about I'm gay. This will be funny.
It's a very, you know, everybody's open. It's celebrated now.
Sure.
Through
parade.
different organizations and the public and the government.
He has no idea where he's going with this stuff. You know, if being gay, just like, why don't you come out? Because, like, there's different organizations and, you know, the government, people.
You did come out already.
He's so
For
stupid.
crying out loud.
He's so stupid. He's so bad at this. I love it. I got to watch that again.
It's a very, you know, everybody's open. It's celebrated now.
Right. Why aren't you
through different,
celebrating?
Organizations and the public and the government.
The
Patreon.
public and the
Hey, look, here's Pinky.
That John not paying attention at all. You would think Rob's making fun of me. He's so bad at it that he can't even get John involved in it. John, who wants to make fun of me so desperately, he wants to have someone on my show, on his show, to goof on me. Rob's doing it, and John's totally checked out. He's like, "Oh, look, here's Pinky. Moving on. Let's figure out something else to do." Well, since we're talking about Pinky, I do want to play Cardiff on MLC. Cardiff got the link. Thank you to T.O. Hank, Stevie Lou, the Sorcerer. They all vouched for him. Kevin Brennan swore he'd never have Cardiff on his show. He'd never have a potato on his show. And then Saturday night after midnight, Cardiff is thinking he might get a link. He's not sure. Gets the link.
Wow.
All right. I'll go on and talk to Kevin Brennan. And I got to give a ton of credit to Cardiff because he got some good shots in at Kevin Brennan. As we know, Cardiff is not a fan of Kevin Brennan. He's the one that created this jingle for us.
Bye, Brennan.
And this is him getting a dig in on Kevin pretty early on in the show.
All I said that got things going with Teamster Tim was when I did meet him the first time. Kevin, I've until the Dabbleverse, I never watched your show. I knew who you were. I've heard your name. Obviously, I know your brother.
Fuck.
What's great about that? So, Sorcerer there in the bottom right, he wants to be on the show desperately. He loves being on MLC, and he's not sure how to react at first when he brings up Neil Brennan. Kevin Brennan's much more successful younger brother who has multiple stand-up specials on
I've seen the
Netflix,
special.
created one of the greatest comedy shows of all time with Dave Chappelle. Just so many credits. It's incredible. People love him. Everyone hates Kevin Brennan. And Cardiff brings this up. And the Sorcerer and even Stevie Lou are like, ooh, are you allowed to do that? And then as soon as Kevin gives him the courtesy laugh, these guys go, okay. And Sorcerer even gets it double guns.
I saw.
Did you see that? Watch
Yes.
this.
The
Great.
Dabbleverse, I never watched your show. I knew who you were. I've heard your name. Obviously, I know your brother.
Fuck.
Double guns. Yeah. Well done, Cardiff. I thought that was very good. So you're not going to believe this. Kevin is about as funny as Rob Saul. He's going to start calling me gay. And yeah, Kevin, I mean, he is a better comic than Rob Saul. I'm sure he's got way funnier quips about how gay I am.
God, I would hope so.
No, let's focus on Carl. You've been to Carl's house?
I have twice.
Twice.
Two greatest days of my life.
Wow. All that wood
And what's
paneling.
it smell like? What's it smell like in his house?
No,
it smell like it smell like
probably.
Does it smell like a mom wife? What does it smell like?
Oh, his mom, his wife, his mom wife is a lovely woman.
She seems wonderful to put up
she
with Carl,
is.
all this shenanigans.
point.
But Carl, what's the over under on Carl being gay from a potato that's been to his house twice? Over or under?
Over or under? That's not usually.
Doesn't even make sense. Kevin doesn't even make sense right there. What's the over under on it being gay? Over under involves a number. 69? I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that. But that's it, man. Both Kevin Brennan, obviously, he wrote the playbook about goofing on me. Rob Saul has read the playbook. Mom, wife, gay. Boom. Roasted. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know how much longer I'm going to last.
There's no
in this
more work that
Dabbleverse.
needs to be done.
It is nuts.
Hey, run with it, I say.
Zach Hoffman has been a member for 7 months. You see that, Looney Tunes critic? That's how you do it. Jenny Jingles looking lovely as usual. But since I'm here, fuck, marry, kill, 2015 John, 2024 John, Rob Saul. Great question. Jenny, what do you got?
Oh, can I kill them all?
Nope. That's not how FMK works, and you know that. And I don't like to play this cop out like, oh, I would kill them all. Yeah, we know. That's why the game exists. It's funny that way.
I hate this game.
I know. Let's go.
Okay.
This guy's been a member for 7 months, Jen. And all he has is one simple question for you.
Oh, it's impossible though. Okay. Okay. I would.
What's great about this is that there's 2 of them are John. One of them, you know where it's going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 2015 John, you're like, well, this is not going to get any better. But then 2024 John, we don't know. There's a whole world of possibilities. Maybe he catches on, gets a movie deal or something. Stars. Maybe he gets like one of those deals like Adam Sandler had with Netflix where he's like 8 movies.
Okay, and I don't really know Rob Saul. So I think I would. Okay. F 2015 Stuttering John.
You'd fuck John in 2015. Okay. Because actually, that's a good call.
You know what?
It's only going to last 30 seconds.
Right.
So that's
Because
actually
he quit
really
drinking
good.
hopefully around that time
Yep.
for 2 weeks. Maybe I
Okay.
can get in on that window.
That's good.
I might marry Rob Saul because it seems like he's got some pretty good drugs.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And
That's
then I
true.
would kill 2024 John because he's on his way out probably anyway.
And all you have to do is like trip him. It'd be so easy to do too. So, okay. That's good reasoning. So you hear that, Rob?
That is tough.
Rob's going to get married again.
I don't know if he'd have me. I'm a little too old for him.
He doesn't seem like he shares his drugs. He's one of those guys just like, oh, I'm all out of coke. You're like, are you? Okay. Keep going to the bathroom. Arcona, remember, for 15 months. Jen not mailing the hot sauce is so April-esque. Yeah, Jen, you got some explaining to do.
Are you going to hug me really, really hard after the show?
Well, you were over at Nick Ricada's house all weekend. You got some questions for you on that. I know you and Nick are friends, but what's a long drive? Seemed a little bit weird. AO, 10, 12, $2. Cumia went to rehab. He sure did. It was court ordered.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny's Gippy Halloween at $2. Jenny Jingles rocks. Let's go Tigers. Let's go Tigers.
Yeah.
What an exciting end of the season they had to sneak into the playoffs, and now they're up 1-0 in a best of 3 against the Astros. This is my riveting sports talk portion of the show, everybody. I mean, World War III is starting today, and we haven't brought that up, but we're talking about the Tigers in a best of 3 series against Houston. I don't know why. You'd think there'd be more important things to discuss on this program. Obviously not. Oliver Hernandez, a member for 14 months. It just keeps getting better and better and better. Rob is the founder of NAMDLA, North American Man Dog Love Association. I knew he was a member. I didn't know he was also the founder of it. I'm not just a client, I'm also the president. John is pretty much the boomer from L4D. $2. Rob Saul is Jeff from the John and Jeff show. He really is so bad. I only played those quick clips. There was so much more I could have pulled from that episode. Rob is so slow. I don't know if he's had an accident or something like Ray DeVito and Frenchie Hanna. He can't get out a thought. It's so many you knows and ums and this Carl guy, his mom wife, pizza rolls. Jesus Christ, Rob, what are you doing right now? You were on the radio at one time? That's crazy.
He's tired.
Hazard forward, $20. Fuck yeah, potato. Fuck yeah. Thank you, Hazard forward. Duke of Just Do It's, $2. Rob Saul couldn't get with Paula Poundstone. Do you know that for a fact? We don't know that for a fact. I can't sign off on that. AO1012, $2. Guessing Rob's rehab was court ordered too. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Good point. That's why you were saying that. It had to be court ordered because he was talking about there was a restraining order and he didn't have custody of the kid. And so he probably had to go through some shit to get his act together to make that happen. Super tips are still open for everyone, and we appreciate you super tipping and being a part of the show. This is from Cyborganic, $3. Sorry, John. I just gave WATP your birthday money. Cyborganic! October is John month. Oh, man. Actually, it's Steeltoberfest. I'm pretty sure. So that would be exciting. I don't know where this little piggy's going to be this Friday. Of course, the new show that we're doing, the roundtable discussion about Aaron Imholt and the Steel Toe Morning Show. Already very interesting this week. His show got struck yesterday.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, this guy
can't catch a break.
Well, and I don't agree with this. I'll tell you guys right now what happened, and I did not sign off on this kind of behavior. But for months now, Aaron has been promoting this gun store in his town, and that's against YouTube's terms of service to promote anything having to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so someone struck him and he got his episode taken down. And that's not a good thing,
No.
in my opinion. I don't think we should be trying to fuck with people and their channels and their episodes and stuff like that. There's a lot of reasons to goof on Aaron, a lot of ways to do it, but fucking with him IRL is not the way to do it in my humble opinion. But anyway, so he came back and did some more episodes, and I guess he made the goal early today, but missed the goal the night before, so he wasn't going to give overtime until he hit the goal from the night before on the morning show. Don't even ask. We'll be talking all about it, this little piggy.
Wow.
This Friday, either be on Tuki's channel or this channel. We'll figure that out.
I love you, Jenny. I wish Carl would let me lick you.
Oh,
John, I told you I'd give you permission. Come on.
don't you dare.
Come on, John. And it is up to me, by the way, too. Rabbit Weasel, $2. Great show as always. Thank you very much. And Weber's Art Studio. What's the deal with Kumia and Shuli? All right. You guys ready for the deal with that? You ready for the exclusive? I honestly don't know.
I was going to say, is there a deal?
I haven't talked to
I had
either
no
of those
idea.
guys. I haven't talked to either of them about that. I haven't talked to Shuli in a bit because we're not doing Point Dabble Point. I got to get in touch with them and see what's going on with that. All right, let's get back to this episode. We got a few more clips on here, and then we'll get out of here. I got to go to band practice in a little bit. It's getting late. We got to make dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right. Let's get over here. They're clowning me. Apparently, I can only get people to watch my show if I'm talking about Stuttering John, and even then, I'm not sure. But this is them clowning me.
Yeah, but you guys are like hacks with the Stuttering John. You all watch Stuttering John because you know your numbers will be higher.
No, we
You know,
make
Carl
notes, we laugh
does
at it, we break it down.
Carl does a Who Are These Socials, and he gets 100 people watching. So again, nobody's watching for Carl. They're watching him watching Stuttering John.
All right, I'm going to get real petty for a moment here, but it's only because Kevin's constantly gaslighting his audience about me. He does it all the time. He's made up a lot of things. So let me just show you. He says I get 100 views per episode. So who are these socials? Let's see. We got 7,800 on the top one there. 5,700, 4,500, over 4,000, over 9,000 on that one. Over 6,000. I can't really see from here. I got to get this thing closer to me. The point is that it's not even fucking close. And we also have a podcast. People can listen to the audio versions of these shows. We get thousands of more people downloading the episodes. So this is what the kind of stuff that Kevin just makes up. And he just says it and it's just like, okay, I guess that's true. Carl gets 100 people watching. Who are these socials? Check out Who Are These Socials. It's a great show every Thursday at 6 p.m. My buddy Blind Mike, he's back from Skank Fest.
Have you heard anything about
this
it?
week? I have. He messaged me. He was hanging out with Big J Okerson.
Oh,
I don't know if
right,
I'm allowed
yes.
to talk about that, but we'll find out on Who Are These Socials coming up this Thursday. We'll know more about that. I'm sure we'll get an update from Woke Dad. Holy shit, the Woke Dad TikTok account. A guy made a TikTok account as Woke Dad, which is fantastic. So Cardiff here makes a very good point about, before I do that, this is more of Kevin gaslighting his audience about me. This is the kind of shit he says. And then I hear people say this to me and chat me about this. I go, oh, Kevin told you that. And you just believed him.
Add porn on his phone.
Okay, but speaking of porn bomb, you thought it was a hoot that I got porn bomb at Rochester.
I didn't think you didn't get porn bombed. You were broadcasting a private stream that they decided to
It wasn't a
broadcast
private
porn
stream.
on.
I fucking paid my money.
So they're talking about the fact that Chad Zumach's a piece of shit and he went on Cardiff show and porn bombed him.
Okay.
So when you have a guest on your show, let me explain this. This is not a difficult concept. You have a guest on your show and that guest decides to put porn up instead of their video image of themselves. Yes. That's called a porn bomb. You invited them on the show or they got on your show somehow and then they tried to fuck up your channel by doing that. So Kevin's going to explain that's what I did to him. I've never porn bombed anyone in my life. I never would. It's a stupid thing to do.
We're broadcasting a private stream that they decided to
It wasn't a
broadcast
private
porn
stream.
on.
I fucking paid my money for it, and I didn't agree to anything that said you can't watch this while they're watching it.
So this is Kevin being disingenuous as he likes to do. So he's trying to say that he paid $30, so of course he can rebroadcast a show that we were doing behind the paywall. And I'd love to see him try to rebroadcast UFC or Major League Baseball, but he's acting like, yeah, no, this is fine. Of course I could do that. I paid my $30. He also told people not to buy it because he was going to rebroadcast it. And on Twitter, I warned him, Kevin, don't do that. It's not going to go well for you. So we told him not to do it. He was trying to take money out of our pockets, obviously. And now he's acting like he's the victim.
Well, I think that's assumed.
No, it's not assumed. It's not the FCC, right, Sorcerer?
But exactly. it's
I
not the
just think
FCC.
everybody has their own rules.
You're muted, Source.
Everybody has their own rules for like, it's okay if I do this because you do this. No, they try to take down my channel. In fact, Bob did a victory dance.
They tried to protect their investment in the broadcast that they were charging money for.
Yes, thank you, Cardiff. Not only were we charging $30 to watch all of DabbleCon 2 that weekend, but it cost us a shit ton of money to put that stream together.
Yeah.
I had to invest in software and build a website and all the equipment that we had over at the at the Carlson that Vinny was running and directing in real time. The amount of work that we put into doing that. And Kevin's just like, so you wanted to give it to the people for free. What's the fucking problem? You guys are creating new rules. These are not new rules. And you know that. He's gaslighting people.
Also, you weren't on YouTube. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Well, right. Yeah. I mean, what if we did want to just play porn? And then again, I suggested that we just have nice lesbian porn so we could all enjoy.
Well, that was not your
The
choice.
video clips they picked, I would not have picked, but whatever. We can do whatever we want on our private stream, and we don't have to worry about YouTube's terms of service. If you snipe us and steal it, then you do have to worry about that. But this is Kevin. He's constantly gaslighting his audience about what I've said and he loves to say that if I go up against him at the same time, so for example, Dabble Point on Fridays at 4, Kevin was saying, well, Carl would say this is an act of violence.
No, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't. Kevin has changed all of this and gaslighted people. And he says, I gaslight people. Play the clip, Kevin, if I'm gaslighting people. But Kevin says that I would say it's an act of violence. No, that's called competition. That's very healthy in business. If you want to go up and I want to go up, people get to choose who they watch. when I was talking about an act of violence, I was talking about John trying to get my Patreon taken down because of what people wrote in the Discord server that had nothing to do with. That was what I was talking about. A very different thing than what Kevin likes to turn this into. By the way, Cardiff is on Kevin's show. Has Chad talked about this yet? Does anyone know? He's got to be pissed, right? I got to imagine this really pissed Chad Zubak off. But, all right, I have one more clip on here. And this is Cardiff just explaining, like, striking channels is bullshit. Don't do it.
Thank you, everybody. So a
But a lot of
potato
people-
who did it part-time, it changed his fucking life money. So everyone go fuck yourself. And you're like, Brennan's paranoid. I'm not paranoid enough.
Yeah, well, but again, this is why people need to stop with the gay striking channels shit.
Yes.
Like everybody's talking about you've done it too, Kevin. You've talked about getting people's reporting channels and stuff. Cut that
But
shit out.
I don't officially report people's channels.
I know you don't, but when you encourage
But you didn't
people
lose
to
your
do
channel
that,
because someone reported. It's just YouTube terms of
No.
service that you
yes,
did
but
something
people
that
do.
violated that.
But people can lose their channels when people start tattling on everybody and reporting and reporting and reporting.
But I'm saying you did it part-time and you're a potato and it still affected your fucking life.
It was good, yeah, in a positive way. It made me some extra money to pay for shit.
Yes. Getting people's channels taken down is bullshit. It's akin to trying to get someone fired from their job. It's just you're being a total douchebag. That's not what any of this is about. And Kevin has told people to strike channels, and Kevin's all for it. And I know Chad does it. I know Stuttering John does it. John has just been bragging about getting one of Shuli's episodes taken down recently because he's reporting it. And John's going through and mass reporting everything, which is also against YouTube's terms of service. You shouldn't weaponize the reporting system.
Mm-hmm.
And John loves to brag about that's what he's doing. So he's a piece of garbage, as Rob Saul would say. I'm pretty sure.
A loser.
How dare Rob Saul call Jenny Carl's beard? Rob seems gay to me with that little dog in his lap. I bet he's tossed that dog salad so much. Rob, come to my fun dungeon. I mean art studio slurp.
There's an open invitation for you, Rob. You can hang
that's a
out
good
with
one.
Dan Alexander, Woke Dad. Well, that's all I got for you. I thought that'd be a fun thing to do today, just on a whim. Well, I'll tell you why we're doing this today. Every other Tuesday, I do the Drew Lane Show. Check out the Drew Lane Show wherever you get podcasts. It's also up on YouTube whenever I do my episodes. And if you subscribe to our Patreon or Supercast, I do put those out as little mini bonus episodes, my appearances on there. And because the Tigers are in this wild card game today, Drew said, well, we can't do a show today. I understand. I get it. So I'm going to go on there next week instead. And I figured, well, since we have the afternoon, we could talk about this episode of Opie with Jim hosting Stuttering John Melendez. And it was fun. It was fun to go back and listen to that. I forget how much I loved Jim Norton on that show. I mean, not on Opie's show, but just
in general.
Yes. Especially when he's there with like guys like Dave Attell and stuff. And it's just fun to watch John be out of his element. It's been a long time since he's been on a real show. And so you don't get to see that much anymore. Don't worry. We'll go back to viewing John and his current form and watching current John. But it is fun to go back. And like I said, if you go to our patreon.com/who are these podcasts, we're currently doing a series called Living in the Past with Stuttering John. We're going back to the episodes in 2018, his podcast, before the Dabbleverse existed, and looking at it through the 2024 lens, which has been fascinating.
Yeah.
To see John before he was such a drunk retard. He could actually form sentences to some degree. He seemed to, back then we were making fun of him, but I didn't know how bad it was going to get.
Right. I mean, he can talk.
He could talk a little bit back then.
Yeah.
Sounds like a different guy.
He does.
I mean, the things he's saying are not that different, but
no,
he does sound like a different guy. So, all right. Jenny Jingles, anything you want to promote?
No. Oh, Detroit. Yeah, come to Detroit. Oh, you can't. Well, if you have tickets, come to Detroit.
Okay, so we're playing the Magic Bag on the 25th. And here's the deal. It is sold out. Sold out 2 months in advance. Thanks, guys. And so if you want to go and you haven't gotten tickets, I encourage people to go to our Discord. It's free to join. If you go to whoarethese.com, there's a link to our Discord server. We have a channel in there called WATP Meetup.
Mm-hmm.
And in there is where you can talk about, hey, we're all going to be going to Detroit. Where are we meeting up Thursday? What are we doing Friday? What do you guys want to get breakfast? Do you want to get lunch? A lot of people go in there to coordinate and meet up with other folks who are going to the show, coming in from out of town or live in Detroit. But there's also people who buy tickets and then can't go. And so a lot of times they reach out to me and I go, yeah, I'm not a reseller of this show. I'm the host. So I tell people to go to our Discord.
Yeah.
If you have tickets to sell or you want to give them away or whatever, if you're looking for tickets, go on there. And that's where the swap shop is. Thank you for your call. That's where you want to go to swap those things out. But yes, that's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to going back to Detroit, my home away from home. And we're going to a Red Wings game Thursday night. Red Wings playing the Devils, JJ's team. So that'll be a lot of fun. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us on this non-emergency special episode of Who Are These Podcasts?
Farting in the mosh pits of morning radio.
Okay. Great show. Good job, everybody.
Great job, everyone.
I hate this fucking show. It's the gayest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Hit it! Wait, what?
Mental illness can literally drive you crazy.
No one told me there was gonna be boasting.
Thanks a lot, Carl.
This is going great.
Boring. Be more funny.
Don't say shit for attention. It's not cute.
You know, who are these
podcasts?
I don't get it.